You want to talk about services?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We can absolutely talk about services.
We can talk about services. We can talk about ambassadorship.
Okay. Let's talk about services.
Okay.
What services we offer. So, explain for the people, Miles, what you do.
I do a lot of different things. One of my jobs here is, we'll call it service advisor.
Mm-hmm.
So when, let's say you want an upgrade on your van,
Mm-hmm.
or through the customer support portal, we've determined that an issue with your van needs some help from us.
Mm-hmm.
Schedule that appointment, take care of all the logistics to get you here. So I guess, for example, popular service that we offer is an Espar service.
Mm-hmm.
That Espar, we recommend every 2,000 hours or more, or less, sorry. That Espar needs service by a licensed Espar technician. Mm-hmm. So our staff is licensed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They're certified to do it. So you can bring your van in, we take it apart, we clean it, we replace filters, put it all back together, test it, make sure it works.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just one small service that we offer.
Yeah. Something else on Espar services is you talked about the number of hours. That's a big one, but probably the one that we see maybe more damaging to Espars is when they sit. Is
Yes.
If you haven't used it for 6 months, 8 months, a year, when they sit, it's kind of just like a motor of vehicle. They're built and made to run, and they need to run. And so one thing I know that with like filters and things like that, needing an Espar service, it's just like oil life on your vehicle. 2 triggers. One's mileage, the other one's time. Because synthetic oils, I mean, they don't, I guess, I don't know if you can necessarily say they go bad, but I do believe that they start to separate out. I'm not going to go any further because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that synthetic oils, they need to be changed out over time. But the more you use the vehicle, maybe that time can be kind of pressed on a little bit. Espars are the same way, right?
Right. Yeah, so Espar service is one example of a service we offer. We also, you can come in for upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
So we're always offering new things, whether it be storage inside your van,
Mm-hmm.
or exterior components like a ladder or tire upgrades,
Mm-hmm.
or even suspension upgrades. That's a big one that people are coming back for now because we offer things now that we maybe didn't at the time that someone got their van, or maybe someone wanted their van at stock height on stock tires for a while to test it out and then think about if they needed a Q lift or they needed upgraded suspension components.
Right.
So now they're coming back for those things.
Mm-hmm.
And what's important to note on that is it's not just the lift, it's not just the upgrade. While we're in there, we're replacing wear items. So we're not sitting you back on the road set up for failure.
Right.
We'll replace tie rods or joints or whatever it is that needs replaced is done while it's here. We've got it taken apart.
Right.
And while we're at it, maybe replace brakes or upgrade brakes.
Yeah.
All those kinds of things.
Yeah. Yeah. A note on that is with the Fords, with how they're designed, I mean, you actually have to pull the shaft out of the rear axle to do the rotors. And so you actually are breaking apart the rear axle. Well, for maybe a typical shop, that's not something that they do every day.
Mm-hmm.
So making sure that it goes back smoothly, correctly, replacing like the single-use bolts, torque specs, all those different things that you kind of see on forums as potentially, fault and error. Our guys do it every day,
Right.
and so we stock the parts. We know the rotor that works best. We know the brake pad. I mean, we're always changing and tweaking, but this is what our team does. It's not a Ford shop that handles, F-150s, Mustangs, and then the occasional Transit. No, we are 100% Transit, T350, and then with all of our certifications and the QVM and our partnerships, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. We've also
Right.
been a part of a thing or two. So, there's all these different aspects to it, I guess, where doing things like, through our third-party vendors, Q lifts, get that suspension, get that tire clearance. Everyone wants to run like a bigger all-terrain.
Right.
Everybody wants that ground clearance. Everyone wants all those benefits. And so, we're able to offer all those, and we're not offering it as a custom shop that does it one time.
Right.
I mean, we probably have, 350 to 500 probably Q lifts on the road at this point. honestly. I mean, it'd probably be good
Yeah.
for us to know the number, but but you also mentioned like wear items. Just like our certified process, the same shop that does all of our certifications. I mean, we're replacing anything that's a loose bearing, loose bolt, worn item. I mean, we're replacing. And this is stuff we see. And as you would think, a vehicle that's production built in high volume, you wouldn't see nuances. We do. But the nice part is that, I mean, there's not many times something new comes across for us anymore because
Right.
we've just done so much. And that's what's really nice about, if you bring your van back for service, that's what's nice. But like you mentioned service, so but it's not necessarily service because something's always broke or anything like that,
Right.
which is absolutely why we do what we do. We're going to back our product. You can come in, we're going to take a look at whatever the case it is, but it is that second half of it, which is upgrades and changes. We're a
Right.
modular business. So Miles, customer comes in, can they change out their kitchen galley? Can they change out their modules? Can they do all these type things while they're here?
Happens all the time. Definitely. Our new galley modules haven't been an option for that long. So there's there's a lot of vans out there with older setups. Well, if you're ready for a different setup, you want more drawers, you want some cubbies, you want to put your fridge or your toilet onto a slide out cabinet instead of it just laying on the floor, strapped down to the floor. Well, we've got solutions for that now.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be trading out what you have or adding to what you have. Um, and also, I've got plenty of experience in a van. So if you're not sure how to solve a problem inside a van, well, let's just talk about it. Send me a picture of the inside of your van, and then we'll talk about maybe there's an idea that we offer that can help, make your trip a better experience.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you mentioned kind of just like the different setups, but also, lithium hasn't been around forever.
Yeah.
So we've done services where they're currently AGM. We've actually upgraded complete power systems to lithium, in a service. We do have a new one. I'm going to put an asterisk on saying this one because, it's costly. So you want to look at the whole thing. But we're currently taking a EL do model, and we gutted it. We're actually building it as a new move model. All things that we can do. Obviously, we're doing it. That's what's nice about what we do is we can tear down, rebuild, and there's not, we're using the same holes. You're not cutting new holes.
Mm-hmm.
It transfers between the two. There's just kind of that asterisk there, which is when you get to that level, do you want to trade in, trade up, or do you actually want to, keep the chassis you had? Which I will say, and will forever say, and this goes for owning any vehicle. This is my own opinion. When you get a vehicle that runs good, feels good to you, no issues, it's got 30,000 or plus miles, and it's just been a trooper for you, think twice about getting rid of it,
Right.
because, I'm not going to say that, the next vehicle you get might have issues, but here's what I do know. You know what you know when you have a good vehicle. And so, pay attention to that, pay attention to keeping that van, but that we've had services go to that extreme
Right.
of tear down and rebuild.
Yeah. And you mentioned lithium and battery system upgrades and options. That's another big one that I think a lot of people aren't aware of is, maybe you have an AGM system that works for you and you're fine with, but we still offer upgrades to go along with that. There's an
Absolutely.
upgraded battery management system so you can better monitor that, upgraded charging components, those kinds of things. Or your current existing lithium system, well, now we offer new tools for winterization and storage, tools to make that system better.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're using all the power that your AGM system offers. You want a whole new setup. You want to improve your experience. Well, we can switch it out to a lithium setup.
Yeah. Basically, we've never slowed down on making our product better with more options, changes, tweaks. And a part of service and bringing these units in is you can leave with the new standard.
Yeah.
So, you can leave as if it was new. Is
Right.
really what you can do with us. I mean, I don't know I don't personally don't know of any company that is a manufacturer of a product like we are, to where we are OEM builders, production line style building, but also in the same building is also our service department.
Yeah.
I don't know of another company, and I guarantee I know they're out there. But to the fact that our service team are all people that were one point on the production line. They were on the production line when I was with them on the production line, making changes daily. So again, they've seen a thing or two, so they can. It helps whenever these units come in. It helps us really take a step back and say, well, you came in for this, but I'm also noticing this over here. So we can do quality QC checks, from front to back on units. Just double check everything while you're here.
Right.
And so also, I'll say this for the record. When a van comes in for service and it's an older unit where maybe we've changed out. So our old Do models used to have a triangle bracket in the floor. And now we have a L bracket that doesn't have that triangular gusset piece. It allows you to push the kitchen pods back further. Now, anytime we see those in a service, we change them out.
Right.
No charge. We do it because we know that it benefits the customer. And so we do it. Obviously there's a gray area there of like, how far do you go with it? How far do you back off? But we try to do those things that just make sense. I mean, we double check all air vents that come in towards, if it's and it'd have to, at this point, it'd have to be a really old build. But, regulator ads for the air vents. So the green, I think they call it the green light of death.
Right.
Making sure it keeps from doing that. And so, Miles, you and I, we've talked a bunch about just service appointments and where we both want to see it go. How do people reach out to you to get that done?
A few different ways. The easiest way is to email service@vandoit.com, or my email address is on the Meet the Team page on the website, or you can go through this customer support portal. So you can submit a ticket, listing out whatever issues or upgrades you're thinking about, and that gets to me through that system as well.
Sweet.
And I also, a lot of people, I think, are kind of intimidated about, the trip back to Vandoit. Maybe you live on the other side of the country. Well, we have people ship their van here. We have people drive their van here, fly home, or fly somewhere else for 2 weeks, come back, and then drive their van home. All those things are an option. Or if your van's going to be here for a couple days, no big deal. We'll get you a ride to and from the hotel, all those kinds of things. We don't want those kind of, like I said, intimidating factors to be the reason you don't come back to get something taken care of.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's transport truck, drive them, you name it. I will say, pressure on the team is obviously you come in and trying to get a lot of work done in one day. And what I try to make people aware of is like, hey, if you have the ability to stay in for one more day, what more would you do to lead more successful?
Right.
And that's why we went to 2-day deliveries, because it's like, hey, you need to spend more time here because it's such an overwhelming day with all the options we offer. You need to be here longer than one day because you need to go get a good night's sleep after the first day, or you won't sleep because your brain's turning so fast.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to come in with kind of like a fresh mind the next day to say, hey, I thought about this. I want to do this. And it's been a huge success. Services are the same way.
Yeah, we don't want to rush a technician. If you think about, when you're cooking a meal and you're in a rush, how easy you can make a mistake. And I'm not saying these guys are prone to making mistakes, but when you're rushing and things like that, it's just not a good recipe.
Yeah.
We want to be able to take our time and do things the right way and do it thoroughly.
Yeah. Well, when we build a brand new unit, we want to have the time to actually properly QC, test drive, do all these things. The service should get the same treatment.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times we're doing about the same amount of work.
Yeah.
So,
Plus
awesome.
taking it apart.
Exactly. Well, I absolutely appreciate it, Miles, for you jumping on. These things are usually fun. Your second one you do will be always better.
I'll bring more jokes next time.
Yes. Please, dad jokes.
Okay.
Plenty of dad jokes.
I'll prepare.
Please do. So, but if we'll put the links below, different ways you can do service. We'll also have, I think, some PDFs and some different stuff that if you want information, what all you can do, definitely reach out, and we will take it from there and get you in here and get you upgraded.
We're here to help. That's my job.
That's all it is. Okay. Thanks, Miles.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Rock and roll. Miles, 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 Miles.